Hey guys, happy Sunday. So I was about to go live for the first time ever, and I didn't realize that in order to go live, I actually have to request to go live through YouTube first, and then I have to wait 24 hours. So I'm not going to be able to go live today. I'm going to maybe try to go live sometime this week. I am getting ready to leave for Mexico on Thursday, so I have a lot of packing and cleaning and stuff I want to do and get caught up on my sleep before I go. But if I have time, I'm definitely going to do it, and if not, I'll be in Mexico for about a month, but I'm happy to do, a live Q&A once I'm there, kind of on the weekend too. You'll notice I'm so glittery today also. For those of you who are familiar with Burning Man, I went to a Burning Man fundraiser party last night, and for those of you who are not familiar with Burning Man, it's basically like this big art festival in the middle of the desert in Nevada, but a lot of people from California and all over really go to it. I've never been. I would like to go, but I have not been. But one of my best friends, Teresa, is in one of the groups or camps that was hosting this fundraiser party. So I was helping decorate and I was helping paint, and I did like the beer and wine bartending for a little bit because they were doing paid drinks, so they could raise money to go. But people dress up like crazy. It was cat, space, and bee themed because that's the theme of their different camps that they have or groups. And so I was like this hybrid, mainly cat but bee, and just glitter seemed like a good choice. But I washed my hair yesterday, and I only wash my hair like every 3 or 4 days, so I don't dry it out too much. So I'm going to have glitter hair for a couple of days. So I actually decided I'm going to do a vlog, which I don't know if there's any interest or people are going to find, anything going on in my life particularly interesting. But I do think this party was cool. And also I've had a very chill weekend besides that. So maybe you can pull some inspo or just, I don't know. I like watching, vlog videos and, what I do in a day or like what I eat in a day videos. So I kind of just cover a wide range of things. Fasting, manifestation, what I did eat when I broke my fast, this party, and just kind of like having a chill weekend reading at the park and whatnot. But I'm hoping to get that up soon, hopefully within the next week. But let me know if you like it and if it is of interest, and I'll keep making more. But yeah, so I'm bummed I didn't get to do live Q&A, but I did get a message on Reddit. I actually kind of want to pull it up, but about basically social media, like being blocked on social media. And then I also got a really nice message on my Instagram from someone named Jem. And Jem, you are amazing. That message made my day. Seriously, it's the first message I've gotten, really from this channel, because this channel is very new, just that the videos have helped them. And so definitely it was like really awesome for me to hear, because like I mentioned in my other videos, I like to make videos because when I was first learning law of assumption and law of attraction, manifestation, all that jazz, different coaches and different people that spoke about it, different ways they phrased things resonated with me in different ways. So even to this day, I'll watch Dylan James one day and his video will resonate with me, and I'll watch Amanda or Katie from Create Your Future and they'll resonate with me, and then I'll watch I forgot his name, Elmer Jr., I forget his last name, but I'll watch his, and his will resonate with me. So all these like larger YouTube channels, I think they're all great, but even the smaller ones, there were times when things were said certain ways, and I'm like, oh, this stuck with me. Or even people said something in my Discord, my manifesting Discord, and I'll take a screenshot and like refer back to it. So my hope is just maybe I can say something that maybe makes you look at something in a different way or sticks with you. But yeah, definitely let me know what questions you have. I mentioned this in my other video, but if please subscribe, and if you are a subscriber and you have a question, like let me know. Drop the questions in my comments, because I'm definitely wanting to answer questions that I get in the comments in these videos. So definitely just want to help. But today I want to talk quite a bit about social media, because I feel like it's been coming up a lot in messages that I've gotten, primarily on Reddit, but also just with some things like my friends are going through, like friends that are into manifesting. And it works out great timing-wise because I'm actually right now doing a 2-week social media detox, essentially. Obviously, I'm still making YouTube videos, but I am not, right now I am not watching any YouTube videos that are not manifestation or law of attraction. So basically, I have to be learning from the video. No podcast, no music. That's the hardest one for me. So when I'm working or getting ready, no music, no social media, so no checking Instagram, which I would mindlessly do. It just became such a habit. No Facebook, no TikTok, like you name it. And I used to, no movies. So even on the weekends, if I had some downtime, like Friday nights, I would love to just pop in a movie, or not pop in, but put on a movie. But yeah, none of that. So it's been really interesting. I've been journaling a lot and scripting a lot. Been reading a decent amount. But I have this adult coloring book that's supposed to be good for like stress relief. And I haven't been stressed this week, but I was just like, you know what, that sounds fun. And so right before bed, I just 20 minutes just was like coloring. And I was like, I don't remember the last time I've colored, so that's cool. But it's crazy to me because social media, you know, I think a lot of people get caught up with what they see in the 3D with their SP in terms of social media. Before Law of Assumption, I was definitely that person. I was the person who would obsessively check Instagram, check my SP's followers, like see whose pictures he liked, like go through and all this stuff that I just didn't like. I didn't like that I was doing it, first of all, and I didn't like how it was making me feel after, yet I couldn't seem to stop. I was like, it was almost like addicting, like, you know, trying to see like, oh, almost trying to confirm negative things rather than positive things. So almost like, oh, is he liking other people's pictures, or like, is he following like weird accounts, or, you know, whatever. And it was always hard to like find, like I never found anything crazy, but I would still obsess about the smallest things, like, oh, he liked this girl's picture, even though I had no idea like who that person was or what the situation was. But one thing I want to say is that when my SP and I, for those of you who don't know, my SP and I, we broke up we were together 2 years. We broke up last July, and we're kind of dating-ish. We took a month apart and then pretty much no contact, and we're dating-ish officially until a couple months ago. Or yeah, like dating-ish. It got more serious as time went on, but we became official a couple months ago, and so we've been like stronger than ever now. And even leading up to that, you know, those months leading up to it were really good too. But when we first broke up back in July, I actually deleted my Instagram account. I was still struggling with checking, and I was like, you know what, I've had enough, like, I don't want to do this anymore. But, so I deleted my Instagram account, and, not disabled it, like, I hard deleted it, so lost everything, and, you know, it felt really good. It felt good, but I was still, like, I would still want to check, right? So I would still check pretty frequently, like, using a friend's account, or, like, using, like, you know, even just the browser, because I can't remember if he was public at that time, but he kind of went back and forth between public and private. But I would always check to see, like, oh, what did he post if he was public, and then if he was private, like, it was probably better then, because then I couldn't check. But it wasn't until I found the Law of Assumption in September that I really was like, nope, I'm 100% done with checking any social media. And pretty much the way that I like to look at it, and this is the Reddit message that I got, is in short, you know, this girl is with her SP, but even when they're not together now, they're like in a situationship, or like kind of like a dating situation, kind of like me and my SP were. But he's always had her blocked on social media, even when they were together. And just like a lot of social media stuff, like she had checked on social media that he was traveling, and, you know, like, basically it was kind of like creeping is the word I like to use, right? Because that's like that's how I felt when I was doing it. I was like, okay, I'm creeping, right? So she was doing a lot of this creeping, or is doing a lot of this creeping, and it's causing her frustration and all this, like, anxiety, like, why is he here? Like, why am I still blocked? Like, why is he talking to her? And basically what I learned, and what I think is really hard to wrap your head around, but as soon as you can wrap your head around it, it just changes everything. That again, your thoughts create, and if you have anxiety or negative thoughts about something that your SP is maybe doing on social media, and you look at social media to confirm it, your thoughts are going to give it to you because you're thinking about that thing, and the universe is saying, like, okay, you're thinking about your SP doing this thing that you don't want them to do, like hanging out with this person, going to this party, like talking to this girl or guy, then it's going to show up. And the more you look for that confirmation and look for that proof, the more it's going to show up. So, an example is that basically, like, I stopped looking at, I'm trying to think of like a concrete example, but I stopped looking at all at my SP social media, and we actually follow, like, we're back together, so we follow each other again. But for a long time, even when we were pretty serious, not official, but serious, we were not following each other. But I never ever cared, because it's like, why would I want to create something that is negative? You know, like if I'm thinking like, oh, my SP's at this party, like he's talking to girls, like whatever, like why that, if the more that I think that and then check for it in the 3D, it's going to show up. Like every time that I would think like, okay, he's probably, when he was on dating apps when we were separated, he's probably on a date right now. Like I haven't heard from him. He's probably on a date, and I would go to check his social. Like obviously if he were on a date, he probably wouldn't post about it, but it's basically every time I thought negative and would check social media, there would be something kind of iffy that would almost confirm that. But every time that I did not check social media and was able to get my thoughts into alignment and say like, okay, no, he's at home, like doing his budget, like cleaning his room, like he's just having a chill night. Sure enough, like I wouldn't check social media, but he would call me out of the blue. And it was insane because at that time too, we really didn't talk on the phone that much. And I remember there was one Friday night where, I know that he had been on dating apps, and, like, we were still in a situationship. This was, like, way back when. But I remember, like, I was in just a negative, I was in a negative space and was able to transition to a positive space. But I was just, like, cooking at home, and I was like, no, you know what? Like, I'm in a negative mindset, but I'm going to spend time, like, living in the end, like truly living in the end, and thinking like, okay, if this, if we were together, like for real, if we were in a relationship, if we were married, whatever, like what would that feel like? Like how would that feel like? What would I be thinking? Like what would I be doing? And so sure enough, I was just cooking and I put music on, and it took me a while, but I was able to get in a really good headspace and just think like, okay, in the future we're going to be cooking together. And then I took it a step further, and when I got done cooking, I was like, okay, yeah, right now my SP is totally just at home. Like even though it's like midnight on Friday, he's having like a chill night. He's just like getting his life together, becoming the best version of himself that he can possibly be. And I kid you not, he called me that night, and it blew my mind. That was one of the biggest moments where I was like, holy shit, this works, was when I literally said to myself, he's doing his budget. And that's not something that he does very often, like maybe once in a while, but I was like, I had just said like, no, he's doing his budget and cleaning his room. And he called me at like midnight, and sure enough, he was doing his budget. And I was like, on a Friday, and I was like, it was just crazy, because once you get into that feeling state, like your thoughts really do create, and it's just the more you put it into practice and can really feel it, the more it'll reflect on into the 3D. To me, that's super assuring for the 4D too. Like for what's to come, is like I feel more confident that my thoughts create when I do see results. But it's also okay when you don't see results, because it will happen eventually. Your thoughts do create, so the 4D has to conform, or I should say the 3D has to conform eventually. It just might take a little bit to get there. What was I going to say? So I recommend getting off social media completely if it causes you anxiety. I have not found that social media is like its own world, right? Like social media is not real. it's fun. I love memes. I love, I love posting stuff with my friends, like videos and stuff. But just be careful with social media because it can really get you into a negative mind space and headspace. So I do recommend staying off of it if you can. And if you cannot, one thing that I heard recently that I think is a really great tool, and I believe it was Amanda from Create Your Future who said this, so I definitely can't take credit, but it resonated with me super strongly, is that if you are in a situation where you really just have anxiety and you feel like you can't get off social media, think positively about what you do see on social media. So let's see you see your SP post a story at this like concert or at this party, right? Well, just think, instead of thinking to yourself, who is he talking to? What is he doing? Like, is he missing me? Is he thinking about me? He probably doesn't care. Or she, whoever your SP is, right? Think about it in terms of you're going to be there very soon. Think about it like, oh, I can't wait until, I'm at that party next year. When they have this party next year, the next time they have a party, I'm going to be there. The next time there's this concert, I'm going to be there. And I experienced that even recently too. So my SP and I broke up, like I said, last July. It was before 4th of July, and we were supposed to go on a trip together to go see some of his friends. And I obviously didn't get to go. And then this year, I hadn't found the law then, but it was just interesting because I do remember thinking like, even though I hadn't found the law yet, I do remember thinking like, oh, I hope next year. So I wasn't affirming that I was going to yet, but I remember thinking, I hope next year if we go, like, I can go. And sure enough, this 4th of July, we did the same trip, only I was able to go this year. So it was cool, and I think just, like, thinking in that sense of, like, oh, I'm gonna be at that party soon, or if you see your SP in a photo with someone that it makes you uneasy, maybe it's, like, someone that makes you feel insecure, or someone that you aren't particularly thrilled that they're talking to. Just think like, oh, I'm going to get to meet them soon, if you don't know them. Like, if they're a friend, like, let's say they're a girl that's, like, your SP's a guy, or even a girl, and there's another girl in the picture that you're like, oh, it makes you feel uneasy, like, is there something going on between them? You can, like, think to yourself, oh, that's his coworker or her coworker. There's nothing going on. Like, I'm going to get to meet them soon. We're going to be buds. Like, I'm going to be meeting all of his friends, all of her friends. And if it's a third party situation, I think the most important thing to remember is third parties do not exist. And I have a Discord friend that she's absolutely amazing, and we text all the time. But she mentioned this the other day. We were chatting back and forth, and it just is so true that third parties do not exist. Meaning, if there's someone like an ex, or even just someone that's like trying to get at your SP, that you're like, oh, I just wish they'd go away. First of all, don't like let it intimidate you. You're on the pedestal. You are the queen or king of your manifestation, and what you want to happen will happen. But second of all, the more energy and thought you put into this SP, even if you have to see them in the day-to-day, just like completely ignore it, and they will go away, and affirm that they go away. I actually had this happen recently where there was not a third party, but just someone that I wasn't particularly fond of, right? And I didn't even know them that well, but I just got weird vibes, I should say, right? Like, maybe bad vibes. And I manifested that they were going to exit my SP's life, and it turns out that the mutual, and not that they were even highly involved in my SP's life, but the mutual connection that, like, kept this person in my SP's life, like, they're not even friends anymore. So basically the connecting relationship, or the friend in between, was severed, right? So that connection doesn't even exist. And that person randomly just moved. So not that they even lived in the same, area as my SP, but they just moved away. No one really knows where. I mean, I'm sure some of her close friends do, but so it was just kind of funny because I'm like, okay, yeah, I manifested that person away. And ideally, my SC would be strong enough that, like, that third person wouldn't even matter, right? Like, that's the idea, is, like, they don't matter. They're nothing in the story. Like, even if there was history there, like, you are wifey, as Dylan James says, you are hubby, like, you are the person that your SP wants to be with, and it's important to remember that. But if you do have this third party where you just don't want them in your life anymore, just like affirm that they go away. Like, don't wish harm upon them. Like, don't wish anything bad upon them, but let them live their life separate from you. And I even had this friendship that kind of went south over the years. Just nothing terrible, but we were just on different wavelengths, different energies, different priorities. And I just like got every time I ran into this person, I just got kind of a like weird feeling in my stomach, and it always kind of put me in a bad headspace, and I just felt very negative every time I was around this person. Even though I wasn't like friends with them anymore, I still saw them here and there. And you know, I had like affirmed and scripted basically like that person is no longer a part of my life. Like, wish them the best, no mal feelings or bad feelings, but like I don't want to have to see them because I'm still resolving some like underlying feelings I have about it. And it takes me a minute to get back into a positive mindset when I see that person. And sure enough, that person moved across country. So it was just crazy to me, like, okay, you really can manifest someone in your life, and you could also manifest the people and situations you don't want out of your life. And the last thing, I'll keep this video a little shorter, but the last thing I do want to mention is that the biggest thing I think it goes back to, though, is even with social media, if you're seeing stuff come up that you don't like, or let's say you haven't heard from your person in a while, your SP, is trust. And there's this Dylan James video I watched recently that was absolutely amazing. Another Discord friend sent it to me. And it's all about how when you can trust that your person is becoming the best person, the best version of themselves for you, and basically all their thoughts, all their actions, everything they do revolves around you and being a better person and being this ideal version that you want them to be, basically giving them the benefit of the doubt that they're doing their best and trying their best and doing things that enrich their lives and enrich your life, more importantly, or as importantly, honestly, like, sets the tone. And I think every time I can get to that headspace, like, you know, I think if I get into a headspace like, oh, my SP's out partying, like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that. But second of all, you know, that makes me a little more uneasy than, like, knowing, okay, my SP is, like, working on himself tonight. He's doing some self-reflection, like, he's spending time with family or whatever. When I can get into the mind space of, oh, my SP is doing something that is improving his life, like, he no longer wants to be, like, a party animal, or, not that he is, but let's say he were, you know, or he no longer wants to, he wants to be, like, he wants to grow, he wants to be the best version of himself, he wants to pour his energy into activities that make him a better person, giving that person the benefit of the doubt and thinking, like, the best of them in every situation is only going to bring you positive results. And think about the other way around, too. Like, let's say you were just having a down day. Like, today I've just been chilling, right? Like, I've been chilling. I haven't really been texting. My SP and I haven't chatted today. It's about 4 o'clock Pacific time. You know, my friends and I haven't chatted much today. Like, I'm just having a chill Sunday. I woke up late and just kind of cleaning and doing my thing. But my SP could be thinking, like, the worst, which I don't even know what the worst would be, right? Or he could be thinking the best, like, oh, right now she's, you know, doing her budget, which I actually am going to do today. I brought up budgets a lot. Obviously, it's on my mind. Budgets are on my mind right now. Eek. Or like, oh, she's studying Spanish, or, oh, she's reading a book, or whatever. Something that, like, enriches my life and, like, makes me a better person, a healthier person, like working out or whatever. Thinking the best about your partner is, in your relationship, even aside from manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, is the way to go. And when I had, like, I'll say debilitating anxiety, before I found law of attraction and before I started anti-anxiety meds, which I have talked about before, I think it's not talked about enough, but I do think that there's nothing wrong with anti-anxiety meds, and if it can help you be a more leveled out person and just have clarity to really be yourself and not be consumed by anxiety, I think more people need to talk about that and say, like, and realize, like, hey, it's okay and it's not taboo to be on, you know, anti-anxiety medicine. So I still am on anti-anxiety medicine, and I won't be forever, but I am for now. But when you can step away from that anxiety and really have the best picture and know that your SP loves you, they have your best intentions in mind, even if you're not in contact with them, even if you haven't heard from them in months, you need to believe that, and then it will show up in your reality. It will show up in your 3D and, of course, in your 4D. But you have to really believe it first. But when you can believe in the best in your person, they will reflect that back to you. Everyone is you pushed out, and it's a mirror. Whatever you see and whatever you think is reflected back to you. So I will leave you guys with that. I know my videos tend to get a little long. Like I said, I am going to do the vlog. I don't know if you guys are going to like it, but let's just see how it goes. I feel like I'll have a fun time with it regardless. And sorry I couldn't go live for the few of you that, said you wanted to join. But leave your questions in the comments below. I will answer them, I promise. And if you don't mind liking this video and subscribing, it does help this video with the algorithms. It's more viewable to more people if you don't mind liking and subscribing. But I hope this is helpful, and I'm having a lot of fun making these, so I hope they're helpful. I hope they give people nuggets of takeaways and stuff. But let me know what you think. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.